Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm coming to you live from Lisbon, Portugal, the metropolitan area of Portugal, for those of you that are actually living in Portugal currently right now. And also for those that are currently still in the States, either early evening if you're in the East Coast, Midwest, or you're still up somewhere in the afternoon up in the West Coast, up in Mountain Time, up by where Denver is, and North Dakota, South Dakota, Phoenix is. You're dealing with the Mountain Time Zone, all that other good shit, right? This came by to you to give you a little bit of summary of my trip down to Portugal, but one eerie, weird experience actually just sort of threw the whole thing off. We're actually spending some time doing a lot of tours up in like certain areas of Portugal, all around the Lisbon area, urban, suburban, as well as rural, and we found a place up by Évora, that's up in the country of Portugal, and we kind of found this place that's recommended to us by our trip advisor, titled Enoteca Cartuxa. And you can definitely see the local times of like when this restaurant operates, ladies and gentlemen. But I want to be extremely specific about this place right here. This place right here is on some old school Jim Crow hardcore discrimination, primarily towards black people. When the tour guide dropped us off, basically to that restaurant, came by and let the forest actually reserve a spot. The manager said, "Hey, you can't reserve the spot. All the spots are actually currently booked at this time. We have reservations that's actually coming on with a bunch of people literally coming in at this time." And we noticed a group of 3 agents come by, and the same manager literally sat them down literally up front. Dad and I saw it. Mom, my sister mainly saw it. And side note, we actually came to Portugal to really support Dad up in this medical conference at the time, and none of us has ever been to Portugal to literally tour it around, right? So the manager actually came and actually sat the party of 3 Asians up by the table up in the front. And then Dad came by, he came around, he came inside to actually check to see what was going on alongside with the tour manager. And the manager quickly moved those party of 3 up down to the back of the room. We often knew something was really up with them. And that's when Dad and the tour guide mainly confronted them. And the tour manager was not happy and was extremely disappointed, literally down to the T, and literally checked them because of that. Dad came by, basically saw what's up, basically left the place. Also, the tour manager like, we're not even going to argue with this guy. We're not going to try and let him do all this stuff and let him do whatever he wants to do. We're just not going to come back here again. And I know he's very concerned and all the work that he done built, that he's actually working for the company and making sure that we actually have a great time. Which none of this was his fault. And I see the manager literally trying to explain to me, literally try to cop please literally all the way out. Even if they try to send him that time, it's going to take us literally 30 minutes to try and get some stuff done and literally prepare. And they give all these crazy excuses and all the nonsense that actually mainly went wrong by all the stuff that came on saying, oh, it's going to take us a while to actually get the quality food. We're going to be rushed and all this other nonsense. A crock of bullshit. Assuming that the tour manager mainly called him yesterday based on those tours and actually had all the stuff planned literally up in advance. He actually called him many times since yesterday, and the restaurant refused to pick up. Red flag number 1. Red flag number 2, that restaurant literally failed to warn the tour manager that all the reservations of party of 4 and party of 5 are currently booked at this time, so it's actually clearly poor planning from the start as well. And obviously, red flag number 3, the manager literally acting an ass and literally acting all panicky. He saw literally a bunch of black people coming up, a black family come up. This is literally trying to live by and live life. They're actually very articulate, actually very intelligent, and he literally got spooked. Because he expects his own people to leave winding down on the stuff, thinking that he's going to be up in the Hamandas area where you're now with like a bunch of white tourists and all stuff, literally trying to serve them. Didn't really expect that much black families to mainly show up. So what's the moral of the story here? Black people want to enjoy Portugal, enjoy so at your own risk. Be very cautious, be very aware of the laws and all the bounds and the minds of certain people that you encounter whenever you enact certain areas, either urban, suburban, or rural. There's some demon or numbnut that actually made a bonehead decision when it comes to business. Doesn't really want you patronizing your store, never really wants you to be around, and actually trying to find some different way to actually cover his racist tracks and to cover his racist practices. You ain't gonna argue with him. You gotta owe him or her. You ain't gotta yell at him or her, however it may be. Just walk away and do not ever patronize that business again. Do not spend your money in that business again. You better off either going to like a heterogeneous spot or a heterogeneous country, primarily with a heterogeneous major city, or actually go to a country where it's actually primarily you around, whether it's the continent, African continent, or the Caribbean, or in some parts of Latin America. And as for the other non-white groups that actually want to actually maintain and partake in the type of ordeals, I can't really actually get too much, but if they act discriminatory towards you, hey, at least take a warning, be mindful of it, and whether or not you listen to it, that's on you. But more specifically to like the black person situation mainly here, do not ever go to this restaurant, even if you're a black resident living in Portugal, or you're like a black Portuguese man or woman. Do not support this business whatsoever. Stay away from this location if you plan to visit Portugal. And that's all I got to say on that.